Greetings engineer, and welcome to Factorio Mod Tips. In this episode we will cover the moon of Fulgora, Cerys. From the mod page it reads, you discover Cerys, a moon of Fulgora whose ruins lie frozen under a thick layer of dry ice. As you touch down, methane crystals scatter into the vacuum. Asteroids wander overhead along with the gentle solar wind under Fulgora's magnetic influence. Wait, hold on, did you catch that? We are landing on an actual moon! The space here is very limited, and so was my brain function when I first arrived. I spent several minutes walking around and trying to get myself familiar with this place. I found these weird space heaters that erected themselves with a bit of sick removal. The science trigger notifies me that something new has been uncovered, and indeed it has. Nuclear scrap, a resource extremely abundant on this moon, once inhabited by the Fulgorians. It looks like plutonium is also something new on this very unfamiliar moon. And as I wander about and investigate, the neurons in my brain is firing as fast as they can. That's when I get distracted and discover nitrogen-rich minerals and its associated technologies. After a bit of very smooth brain activity, I uncover what secrets nitrogen-rich minerals hold. No, wait, what is that? A ruin that is not mineable? It looks like a nuclear reactor. Maybe if I just put some concrete in it, it'll do something? Wait, is that an asteroid floating above my head? Oh, it is. Well, let's get this place paved and ready to be approved by OSHA. No wait, actually let's just fire up this space heater and see what happens. The ice starts melting and they essentially function like giant heat pipes with an area of effects. This little moon is a great mix of Aquilo's new freezing mechanic and Fulgora's scrap mechanic. I try to establish a bit of a power grid with the few materials I have, and I do mean very few materials. This moon does not allow you to send anything down other than yourself and some construction robots due to the high winds. This will have to be uncovered later in a future tech. The few ruins provide me with what I need, although I have not quite figured that out yet. Maybe in a little bit I'll discover that I have been given the materials to craft recyclers and start building them. The main challenge on this moon, without giving away the entire plot, is puzzles. Like the one you are watching me uncover now. Apparently I need to craft these repair materials to make once frozen and broken machines functional again. There are very limited machines on the moon, making logistics and belt weaving quite the challenge. Sometime later I have the beginnings of a base. A recycler feeding into a box, which contents are inserted into an assembler that can produce the parts I need to fix up this ruin. While tinkering with that, I figured that this place needs a bit more automation, and I start to try and piece together how to craft miners to automate the scrap collection. Let me just give you this advice. Do not recycle the blue chips until you can start crafting them. The entire point of this moon is to get the reactor repaired and functional again, while solving an entirely new puzzle revolving around the main challenge of getting enough resources recycled to be able to sustain yourself and the buildings around you with heat. You may have noticed little balls flying around the screen, and they are what finally unlocked the puzzle of acquiring plutonium for me. If you know anything about breeder reactors, you may have an idea of what I'm talking about. What I had not noticed at this point is that the charging rods that act like accumulators also have an option to turn them either positive or negative, and thereby interacting with the particles flying around. This turns out to be a rather important mechanic. And because of this mechanic, there is a way to get plutonium other than just waiting around and hoping that uranium turns into plutonium all by itself. I finally get my act together and start automating the sorting of the different byproducts of nuclear scrap recycling. By making a parameterized blueprint, I can start sorting through the different byproducts and store them in chests. A filter splitter takes off the output, and a priority splitter makes sure that I get as much as I want in the chests and the rest is sent off to get recycled. To prevent overflow, I set up a priority input for the output before allowing in new scrap. The main purpose of this is to get the fuel flowing for the space heaters, keeping the base warm. Jumping ahead a bit, I'm trying to set up sulfur processing to allow myself to get some sulfuric acid flowing. This is needed for the nitrogen-rich minerals to convert them into ammonia and iron ore. The process gives back more iron than it consumes, but not by much. Oh yeah, and then we have science. Crafted from nitric acid, ammonia, uranium-238 and superconductors. Superconductors are as always crafted with holmium, light oil, plastic and copper plates. With the limited amount of crafting machines, I set out to just swap the recipes of one of the machines. My goal here is to have enough research to be able to repair the broken nuclear reactor, which will hopefully aid in supplying enough power to keep this base running, especially when using modules in machines. And the main issue here is getting enough plutonium to run this reactor, as the recycling of the spent fuel cells does not give enough plutonium-239 back to keep the reaction going. And that's when I discover what those particles actually do. I have to give a warning here, there will be spoilers ahead. If you want to solve the puzzle on your own, do not keep watching. I have to recommend that you discover this by yourself, but if you are curious however, keep watching while I solve this puzzle for you. When they hit the chests with uranium-238 in them, a little particle effect plays and gives a chance to convert the uranium-238 to plutonium-239. I increased the chances in the mod settings just to demonstrate, but the fact is, there is an even better way to do it. My initial guess revolved around the reactor making this happen, however, it does not. It just tries to kill you with gamma radiation. I just want to add that the fact that the mod maker made you think about how you are storing uranium-238 is genius. Uranium-238 is no longer the unloved brother of uranium-235, but instead a great source of plutonium-239, the lacking material to construct mixed oxide fuel cells. This is also when I discovered that you, yourself, can run into the particles and get hit by them to generate plutonium-239 if you are carrying uranium-238. Oh yeah, and remember to add productivity modules into your broken machines when repairing them. It does give you some extra crafts and it requires less materials. And now for the ultimate discovery. These charging rods actually attract and move around the particles, which made me think there was a way to abuse this to get more plutonium-239. And then I built this monstrosity. Attempting to pull in the particles and push them away to get them to interact multiple times with the same chest, increasing the chance to get more plutonium-239. I eventually end up with a design like this. The rods on the outside are set to negative and the rods in the middle are set to positive. So the positive attract while the negative repel. I increased the odds again to show the effect of what happens when you get lucky and get multiple particles interacting with the chests all at once. This was my holy grail and what made me really appreciate the multiple hours I spent on this frozen and hellish moon. I really could just watch this forever. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you too will give Cerys a try. It really was worth it.
Uranium fever.
Uranium fever.